papers, the envelope arrived while I was halfway across the country. I'd been away for a month on a work assignment, buried in late nights and endless meetings, thinking of home with every free moment. But as the courier handed me the envelope, I felt the weight of the unexpected. Inside, the words "dissolution of marriage" were emblazoned at the top of the neatly typed document. My heart sank as I flipped through the pages. It was cold, clinical, and final. Sarah, my wife of 8 years, wanted a divorce. I tried to call her, but my calls went unanswered. Messages were left unseen. Sitting alone in a sterile hotel room, I couldn't help but wonder, what did I do wrong? Why now? Chapter 2. A panicked call 3 days later. While I was still grappling with the shock, my phone buzzed furiously at 3 a.m. Sarah's name appeared on the screen. It was the first time I'd heard from her since the papers arrived. "Hello," I answered, my voice groggy but filled with anger and confusion. Her voice was trembling, a mix of panic and regret. "Ethan, I made a mistake," she said, the words tumbling out in a rush. "I need to talk to you. Please come home." My mind raced. What could have changed in 3 days? What was she not telling me? Chapter 3. Secrets revealed. When I returned, Sarah was waiting at the door, her face pale and her hands shaking. Over coffee in the kitchen, the truth spilled out. The divorce papers were meant to scare me, she admitted, an impulsive attempt to make me realize what I was taking for granted. But that wasn't the whole story. There was something more, something darker lurking beneath the surface. Sarah confessed to a secret she had been hiding for months, one that had driven her actions and now left her terrified of losing me. Chapter 2. Sarah's truth. Tell me the truth, Ethan demands, his voice cold yet steady. He sits across the kitchen table, arms folded, eyes fixed on Sarah. Her hands tremble as she clutches the edge of her coffee mug. "It wasn't about scaring you," she begins, her voice fragile. "Not entirely." Ethan leans forward, his patience wearing thin. "Then what was it, Sarah?" "Divorce papers. While I'm halfway across the country, you couldn't wait until I was home." She hesitates, tears glistening in her eyes. "I was scared," she admits, her gaze darting away. "You've been gone so much lately, Ethan. It feels like you've slipped away, like we're not even us anymore, and something happened." Ethan's brow furrows. "What's something?" Sarah lowers her head, her voice trembling. "There's a man, someone I met. I didn't cheat, I swear, but I thought maybe." She pauses, her voice breaking. "I thought maybe you wouldn't care if I did. Maybe you'd see the divorce papers and just leave." Chapter 3. Ethan's reaction. The weight of her confession crashes over Ethan. He rises, pacing the room as the air grows heavy. "So you wanted me to end things for you?" he asks bitterly. No, that's not what I wanted," Sarah says desperately, standing to meet his gaze. "I wanted you to fight for us. I wanted to know that you cared enough to come home, to stay, to—" "That's not how love works, Sarah," Ethan interrupts, his voice growing sharp. "You don't manipulate someone into proving they care about you. You don't throw papers at their face and hope for some grand romantic gesture." Chapter 4. Shadows of doubt. Sarah fidgets with her hands, her words faltering as she tries to explain. "It wasn't just about us, Ethan. At first it was," she begins hesitantly. "But then, things got out of control." Ethan's jaw tightens. He folds his arms and leans back in his chair, watching her with a mixture of anger and concern. "What things?" Her eyes dart to the window, as though expecting someone to be standing outside. "The man I told you about, he's not who I thought he was. At first he was kind. He listened when I felt like you didn't. But then he started saying things, planting ideas in my head." She swallows hard, her voice dropping to a whisper. "He told me that you didn't love me anymore, that you were probably cheating while you were away." Ethan's brows furrow, his frustration bubbling to the surface. "And you believed him?" "This stranger, I didn't want to." Sarah's voice cracks, her tears threatening to spill again. "But he knew things, Ethan, personal things about us, about you. I don't know how, but it scared me. I started questioning everything." And then she stops abruptly, her face pale. "And then what, Sarah?" Ethan presses, his voice firm. Chapter 5. A web of manipulation. Sarah hesitates before continuing, her hands trembling. "I found out he's been watching me, us." Ethan's breath catches. "What do you mean, watching?" "He mentioned things, details about our home, conversations we had that were private. At first I thought it was just coincidence, but the more he said, the more I realized it was. I think he's been spying on us, maybe through my phone, or—" Her voice trails off, the weight of her realization sinking in. Ethan's expression hardens, a protective instinct kicking in. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" I was embarrassed, Sarah admits, her voice barely audible. And by the time I realized how far it had gone, I thought I could fix it on my own. But when you were away, he started pressuring me, saying if I didn't leave you, he'd make sure you were hurt, or worse. Chapter 6, Unseen Eyes. The first sign of his return is subtle, a knock at the door late one evening. Ethan opens it to find an unmarked envelope on the porch. Inside is a single photograph of Sarah taken from the window of their home. The message is clear: he's watching. Sarah's fear escalates into outright paranoia. She starts checking the locks obsessively, peering out the windows and refusing to leave the house. Ethan, however, channels his anger into determination. He's done being manipulated and he won't let Sarah live in fear anymore. Chapter 7, A confrontation in the shadows. Days later, Ethan receives a call from an unknown number. He answers and the antagonist's voice oozes mockery. Nice to see you back, Ethan. I'd hate for Sarah to make any more mistakes. Ethan's grip on the phone tightens. If you come near her again, I'll make sure you regret it. The man laughs, his tone dark and threatening. Oh, Ethan, I'm not coming near her. I don't need to. She knows exactly what she needs to do to keep you safe. The call ends abruptly, leaving Ethan seething. He decides he can't wait for the man to make his next move. He has to find him and end this once and for all. Chapter 8, An unwanted visitor. Later that night, as the tension grows unbearable, there's another knock at the door. This time, Ethan opens it to find the man himself. His presence is overwhelming, calm, confident, and entirely uninvited. You should have stayed away, the man says, stepping into the house as Sarah cowers behind Ethan. The confrontation is electric, a clash of words and wills. Ethan demands answers, why the man targeted Sarah, what his endgame is, but the antagonist only smirks, enjoying his power. Chapter 9, The turning point. As the confrontation escalates, Ethan finally pushes the man to reveal the truth. He's been obsessively fixated on Sarah for years, convinced that she belongs to him. He orchestrated the manipulation to isolate her, planning to swoop in once she divorced Ethan. But Ethan's return disrupted his carefully laid plans, and now the stakes are higher. Ethan doesn't back down, determined to protect Sarah and expose the man for his crimes. But the antagonist is cunning, and he warns Ethan that any attempt to fight back will come at a cost.